So Picard, it is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness. In business, you're going to lose a lot. You're probably going to lose more than you win, and you can beat yourself up about it for days. We all do. You can really mess yourself up thinking about it sometimes. But often it's not you. It's you did everything right. My VP at Metadata, that's something he would say, well, you've done everything right. And sometimes, most of the time we'd win those deals, sometimes we didn't. But I really appreciated that because you can do everything right in sales. You can use Selligence, you can use HockeyStack, you can, everything is there. And you will still lose that deal, or your business will still lose that market share, or whatever it might be. And it's not weakness. It's not that you didn't do your job. It's not that you're not good at your job. It's just that just wasn't meant to be. And I think that's what is important to take from that. I wish more people read that quote because I think it emboldens you, gives you courage to try, but it helps you not take the defeat so hard. So, I've had deals where I ball up. I lost a deal one year, New Year's Eve, and, I should have known I was going to lose it. But, I turned my shower in a hyperbaric chamber and, just chilled out for a little while with the lights off. And, but I didn't make I didn't make a mistake. It was something else. So yeah, that's my.
There's a couple of things that this makes me think of. So we got an SDR who sits a couple of chairs down. He's working from home today, but he always he was an estate agent, and I think it was one of the first 2 weeks that he was at the business, and he said the person who gets the most no's also gets the most yeses.
Yes,
and that's always stuck with me as a nice quote. Like if you're making 100 calls a day. And a lot of them are no's. If you do 150, you're definitely going to have more no's, but you're also going to have more yeses. And then the second one was actually Nick, who's sitting next to me, showed me a post this morning of a guy who said that he, over the last 2 or 3 years, he set up 2 startups and he worked 10, 12-hour days every day, and both of them have failed. And what he took out of that was it wasn't that he had failed, it was that he had not realized he had failed quickly enough so that he could back out and start again. So he's challenged, this particular person has challenged himself to set up a startup every month, and a new startup every month until he finds product market fit, and then he's going to invest his time in it. And I just found that completely bonkers to an extent, because a new startup every month, that's a lot, isn't it? But admiration in terms of his willingness to try something new and just keep going and going and going and going because he's got the hunger for it.
Yeah, that's a little crazy if you ask me. Get away from your product, but it's also back to failing fast. I think failing fast is so important in business. This TAM isn't working, this functionality isn't working, this messaging isn't working, this hire isn't working. And then if you're at a job it's not working, start interviewing quickly. I'm a huge believer in that. And I wish that's something I had done more early in my career. It's hard because we don't want to fail, nobody wants to fail, right? We're trained, we grew up like that, but just fail fast. The environment stinks, fail fast. And I think the younger folk, younger than me, are better at that than I was, than my generation. You got to remember, my dad worked for the same company for 20 years. I worked for the same company for 11 years. My dad came home from his first long vacation, more than a week, and he was let go. So, in retrospect, if he had, stayed 10 years and changed jobs, it would have been better. But don't be afraid to fail fast. Now, caveat there, if you're in sales and you're in a good position, get at least 2.5 years under your resume there. Because everybody's like, it's okay to change jobs. I'm like, no, it's not okay to change jobs. You need to show excellence at one place. But, if you're there for 2 months and he doesn't feel right and you want to move somewhere else, definitely. But if you're a salesperson in your 20s starting, try to show excellence. When I look at people's resumes, I try to look for excellence at one place. Um, but yeah, when it comes to deals, when it comes to marketing plays, when it comes to business, like you can commit no mistakes and still lose. We've seen this. What's the company? I think it was Par Excel was a competitor to Oracle, and Oracle was not a good product. They marketed better, and to this day, Michael Stonebreaker, who invented it, is salty about it. But he didn't commit any mistakes. He just made the better product. But you had Larry Ellison going bananas. One of the most cutthroat marketers in history. So yeah, if you lose a deal, if you get laid off, if something happens, that's just life.